Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and got lots of gifts and ate a lot of food. I certainly did, and this is what my wife bought me. Look at that. The Justice League pajamas set. So it's kind of cold tonight, so I decided to wear it. Very different from my white wife beater shirt, of course. I got a few more little action figures here that some of my friends, I guess, gave to my sons, and they decided they wanted to put it on my shelf to show everybody else. So cool. And the first topic is Justice League. Justice League released a official cover for the Canadian edition. Of course, it has some Spanish on there, so I'm guessing this is also the international version. I'm not sure, but it says Justice League Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. Now we all also got that steelbook version, which Jim Lee actually drew, and that was really fantastic stuff. It goes along with the Man of Steel and the Batman v Superman Jim Lee covers, but this is the first one we'll see of an official cover. Now this is they're saying it's the Canada edition. Is definitely missing something there. The alternate cut, no alternate cut, no director's cut, nothing to speak of for that. So just wondering what's going to happen there. I'm thinking it's probably not going to be the first release. You could have a release later on, a director's cut, just like someone who brought up said It movie had the digital cut and the regular normal version, the standard version of the Blu-ray DVD. And they're now going to make the director's cut, which will be released later on. So that definitely could happen. Hopefully we'll have some of that going on. Of course, like every studio says, they don't want to divert from that version. They're trying to have that version in theaters to show that that's the version that they want. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. Hopefully we get a Zack Snyder cut. Fiona's site is working very well. She's updating her site on Twitter. That's the forsnydercut.org. So go ahead and check that out. I'll tweet out when it's live. I'll even put it in video when it's live. So hopefully it gets live soon. I think there's a countdown on that if I'm not mistaken. So go ahead and check that out. So, but that's the Justice League. What do you think about that cover? I like that Superman's in there. Some people are kind of upset that Wonder Woman's in front. I guess it's okay for me, but yeah, I guess Superman should be in front, but I know that Wonder Woman, they're trying to promote her a lot because she is the only one who had a successful critically and financially, yeah, I guess financially was pretty good DCEU movie so far. Again, this is the Canada edition, so the US edition could be something different entirely, so we'll be on the lookout for that. But I don't think there's any word of when this is coming out, but I'm probably gonna buy it. I still like the movie. I still like Justice League the movie, and I'd be really happy to find that Snyder cut if there is one, or if they're working on one. I would be really happy. But I liked what I saw in theaters as well. It seems like Zachary Levi has just left 10 hours ago, just left for Toronto to film Shazam, and he put out a little video on Twitter, and I think I retweeted it. He's in the airport. He says on his way to Toronto to film a little movie called Shazam, and he says Shazam, so it's kind of cool to hear him say that. It's like your first initial hint into the movie, so it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool to see that. So it's finally something's happening. I don't know. I know I mentioned that things were happening, and they had that Shazam logo or the cons, and saying that that's still happening. David Sandberg says it's still happening, it's still going good. But it's kind of cool to see an actor who's on his way to go film it, and that's just, it's just something, it's something you can grasp, saying, hey, they're making it, they're actually making it. So it's kind of cool to see it move forward from here. And of course, I'm saying this is New Line Cinema, which is a division of Warner Brothers, so it may not be affected by whatever happening at Warner Brothers right now, but I'm glad that Shazam's still going. The day where they say Henry Cavill is spotted, that I'll be super happy about that. If Henry Cavill is spotted on the set of Shazam, boom, we know what's up. Superman. But anyway, a smaller news today. Bumblebee movie is coming out. It's not going to be directed by Michael Bay. It's actually going to be directed by Travis Knight, who did a lot of those Kubo and the Two Strings and those type of movies. So that's interesting. He's got a live action movie coming out, and it is Transformers. This is Bumblebee. It's going backwards, I think, in the 90s or 80s or 70s, and it has Bumblebee actually be Volkswagen Beetle car, and that's Hailee Steinfeld there as Charlie Watson. John Cena is also going to be in this movie. I am actually looking forward to this because I want to see what they do with this Bumblebee version. How does it stray away from the Transformer movies that we had? I know Optimus is going to be in this and other things, but I think the focus is on maybe Charlie Watson and her Volkswagen Beetle car. So interested to see a trailer for this. Is the movie going to be like Herbie, you know, that Disney movie series of movies about a sentient Volkswagen Beetle, something like that? Maybe a little bit more heart and soul into it, or hopefully it's going to have some action, because I like some action. I want some epic moments in there. The release date right now is on December 21st of next year. Whoa, December 21st. Is there something else coming out December 21st? Aquaman is coming out on December 21st as well. So that is interesting. It's going to be released on the same day. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Oh, man. I didn't see that coming. Well, let's see if anybody changes dates, if they can change dates. Hey, maybe if Aquaman finishes early, they'll move to that July untitled DC spot, you know, instead. But you know, that might eat up, because the Teen Titans movie is also on that day too, and Mission Impossible 6. Man, it's gonna be a stacked 2018. You really can't put movies anywhere anymore. But okay, well, Aquaman also comes on December 21st, 2018. So I wonder how that's gonna work out. That's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. On another news, yes, we're still talking about Star Wars because Star Wars is huge. It's huge news on Star Wars, and I talked about the box office drop from this past weekend. It did better. It did better than what was estimated by Box Office Mojo. It's now doing like 66, so it's only like 66% drop over the weekend instead of the 68. So that's, you know, not great. It's actually doing not too good day by day. And Grace Randolph and also SC Movie Reviews also talked about this on their videos. I can put their links in here. They'll do it better about their day to day, but they're really comparing Force Awakens numbers to The Last Jedi numbers, and it's not looking too good. I mean, in comparison, the movie's doing great, by the way. It's like $1 billion, almost going to be $1 billion probably in this next weeks, in a few weeks. So in Box Office Mojo, they compare it to Star Wars Force Awakens, Jurassic World, The Avengers, and then finally Star Wars The Last Jedi. 11-day total. Force Awakens right now it's at $571 million. And Last Jedi has only reached 395 million. Yeah, it's totally not up there with the rest of the rest of the crowd. There is not totally with Force Awakens. It's actually getting really close to Avengers numbers. Avengers numbers are really good, actually. What did Avengers end up making? Avengers ended up making $1.5 billion. Which is a lot of money. Star Wars: The Force Awakens was $2 billion. Jurassic World was $1.6 billion. At this trajectory, if it continues these large drops in trajectory, it may only get up to Avengers numbers, maybe. But on the 11th day, it's actually up 55% and up 27% from Monday. So, and that's because yesterday was Christmas and they're able to go out to the theaters and watch it more, perhaps, maybe. It'll be very interesting to see what happens to this movie week after week and see those drops more and more. You have to be fair and say, yes, it's not making the Force Awakens numbers. And maybe a lot of people have thought about that. It's not going to make Force Awakens numbers. But is this because of the negative reaction that this movie is getting? Not from critics. Critics love it. But from the audience, you know, And a lot of people says, the cinema score is A, and I like to say, right, cinema score is A. That's not the only factor you should look at. Look at Transformers, even though I enjoyed it. They have some A's in there. Look at its own Star Wars movies. Attack of the Clones, A-. Phantom Menace, A-. Revenge of the Sith, A-. You didn't like those movies? Well, seemingly the audience walked out, said A, and maybe after a while they thought about it and says, I didn't really like it. So it didn't give you, the audience, that much time to think about it and wanting to see, maybe go back to it. It's hard to gauge from that, because a lot of people who came out of even The Last Jedi be like, I liked it, I enjoyed it, and then they say they give it an A, and then the next day after they think about it, say, I didn't really like it. I have a couple friends who, no, I liked it, I think it was good, and then started talking about it, and the day after it's like, I hate it, I super hate it. So, or there could be people who hate it and then like it afterwards. So it all depends, and that's why I don't really care for cinema score as an actual credible rating, because it could change. And I always bring up Power Rangers, because my Power Rangers is dear, close to my heart, and it hurts when you see that, its cinema score is A, you thinking it has legs. No, 60% drop, 60% drop. It just dropped. Nobody went back to watch, except the fans, and I watched it like several times. But Last Jedi, it is not making the numbers possibly what Kathleen Kennedy wants. They'll never admit it, like I said before. But they asked Rian Johnson this, and is it Rian Johnson's fault? Is what Rian Johnson done divisive enough to actually affect the box office numbers? And a lot of people are asking, why do you think it's good that it's polarizing to men? Do you want people to discuss your movie this way? Did you intend to make it this way? And Rian Johnson tweeted this out. He said, the goal is never to divide or make people upset, but I do think the conversations that are happening were going to have to happen at some point if Star Wars is going to grow, move forward, and stay vital. So to him, in his mind, he thinks Star Wars is lacking. What Star Wars is, a fantasy fairy tale type movie with heroes that we expect and love, heroes that are true to the being heroic in that sense. And he doesn't like, it seems, for a Star Wars fan, he wants to change it. And even though he says he was never meant to divide, what he's saying that at some point he'd have to grow, meaning he meant to divide. He meant to change it in such a way that it is different from what you've seen before. In fact, when he wrote this movie, Star Wars Force Awakens was still being made. And he's saying that, it's still being made. It's not possible that I would run. But the way the movie went, it felt like he was intentionally throwing away points that J.J. Abrams was making. It was throwing away original trilogy. Threw that out. So it seems like he was actually really meant to he never meant to divide, but he really meant to go out of his way to make it the most non-Star Wars-y type, non-Skywalker movie possible. And is that right? Should he be doing this? I mean, he is a director and he's right to direct things, but I think most of it has to fall on Kathleen Kennedy not overlooking and seeing how direction this is changing. It's totally different from what a Star Wars Skywalker saga should be. Killing the lore that you've brought on with Star Wars is destroying it, and trying to make a piece that a commentary. You're trying to ground a fairy tale. When people want to go watch this fairy tale, they don't want to see the grounded version. They don't want to see the real life version of the mermaid. They want to see the fantasized part of it. They want to enjoy it because this is Star Wars. Star Wars is a crowd pleaser. Star Wars is a fantasy version. Do you want to make a commentary about socialism, about race, and whatever, about war? Put it in a new trilogy. Put it in a Star Wars anthology that's not part of the Skywalker saga, which is supposed to be overly big. It's supposed to be larger. It's supposed to be that little tale that the boy was telling the other kids about how Luke faced off Kylo Ren and the First Order by himself. That little fairy tale bedtime story moment, but in an actual movie form, right? And not what we got. That's what I'm thinking the Star Wars Skywalker saga should be. A giant fairy tale. Something, a bedtime story, about the legend, not about what actually may have happened, or something grounded, you know? And a movie about failure? Like, I don't want to go and watch a Star Wars movie to watch people fail. And I get that they have to fail, but he intentionally made the movie about failure. The idea is failure. It's like he's using his Looper movie. The type of heroes that he's making in this is not the type of heroes that maybe a lot of us audience were expecting or wanted in a Star Wars movie. So I don't know. It could be affecting box office records right now, and we'll know more as the days go by and the weeks go by. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Like, granted, $1 billion. Everybody wants $1 billion. It's not too shabby. But in terms of what's going to affect Episode 9 coming out, because that's where it's going to hit it. Episode 9 is going to come out, and if it's not going to hit the box office numbers, then that's the result of what happened to The Last Jedi. Yeah. So anyway, what do you guys think about Justice League, the cover art? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you expecting a director's cut later on? Shazam filming, what do you think about that? Bumblebee, any thoughts on that? And also Star Wars The Last Jedi, anything on Star Wars The Last Jedi, let me know down in the comments below. I'm actually watching a lot of videos lately about Star Wars The Last Jedi. I actually subscribe to a whole bunch of people because I like their thoughts on what it is about that. A lot of different hate and ranting about it, and I like seeing that too. But alright guys, thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.